The narrative opens by introducing the female protagonist Lunayan, a gifted violoncellist. We witness her in the midst of a musical performance, her concentration absolute. However, this focus is violently shattered by the sudden onset of her medical condition, an overwhelming wave of drowsiness that threatens to pull her under. The event's hosts, seated directly before her, observe her deteriorating state with growing alarm until she ultimately collapses and faints right in front of them. Displaying immense determination, she manages to rouse herself, but the reality of her situation is inescapable. She knows the attack will recur, making it impossible for her to successfully pass the competition. With a heavy heart, she offers her apologies to the bewildered audience and makes a retreat from the stage. As she departs, a single, desperate thought consumes her. She must find a way to resolve this debilitating health issue that stands between her and her musical aspirations. Her search for a solution leads her gaze to a large, prominently displayed poster advertising a program for a sleep disorder. This initiative is the brainchild of our male lead, Shen Yan, who is spearheading the project. He is shown coordinating with his team, informing them that a meeting for the selected participants will commence shortly. A crucial detail is revealed. Shen Yan himself suffers from the very condition his project aims to treat. The physical toll is evident in the pronounced dark circles under his eyes, a telltale sign of chronic sleeplessness. His alert secretary, recognizing the risk of exposure, swiftly intervenes to apply concealer, ensuring no one discovers their CEO's affliction, a revelation that would undoubtedly jeopardize the entire project's credibility. Shen Yan then turns his attention to the stack of application forms from the individuals slated to attend the meeting. A decision has been made to exclude one applicant. In a symbolic gesture, he tosses the papers into the air, and a single page is carried away by the breeze. He coldly declares that this person's entry to the meeting is hereby revoked. Coincidentally, Lunayan arrives at the venue, having submitted her own application. As she attempts to enter, the very form that was cast aside drifts down and lands directly on her face. Recognizing it as her own application, she is struck with confusion and indignation. Her form's rejection does not deter her. Instead, it solidifies her resolve. If her paperwork is not welcome, she decides, then she will gain entry in person. Her path is immediately blocked by a security guard who demands authorized permission for entry. She presents her application form as justification, but the guard informs her that her participation has been canceled. Meanwhile, inside, Shen Yan is presenting his new medication to the assembled group. As the meeting concludes, he discreetly pockets a sample. Outside, Lunayan continues to plead her case to the guard, explaining the severity of her condition and her urgent need for treatment. The guard, perhaps moved by her desperation, suggests that an issue of this magnitude requires the boss's personal attention and directs her to the building's rooftop. There we find Shen Yan, deep in thought. He recalls the recent meeting where investors voiced their suspicions about his possible insomnia. Although they lacked concrete proof, their doubts were palpable, and even his own father has begun to question him. It is at this vulnerable moment that Lunayan reaches the rooftop. Initially, she sees no one, but then she spots Shen Yan. Her observation is interrupted as he attempts to take his medication but fumbles, dropping the pill. He lunges to catch it, bending precariously over the edge. Misinterpreting his actions entirely, Lunayan becomes convinced he is attempting to jump. Driven by a heroic impulse, she rushes forward and pulls him back, accusing him of trying to end his life. In the ensuing commotion, her own momentum carries her forward and she begins to fall. Shen Yan instinctively reaches out, grabbing her arm, but the force sends them both tumbling to the ground, landing in a heap, their faces inches apart. In this strangely intimate and suspended moment, their eyes lock and an inexplicable phenomenon occurs. Both instantly fall into a deep, peaceful sleep. The following morning, Lunayan awakens first, experiencing the unfamiliar and wonderful sensation of having slept soundly. She recalls her fervent prayer for a good night's rest and wonders if this is the answer. Her memory then snaps back to the man beside her and she checks on him in a panic, relieved to find him alive and well. The tranquility is broken by the ringing of Shen Yan's phone. Lunayan answers it, and his assistant Chen is startled to hear a woman's voice. He demands to know her identity. Flustered, Lunayan simply tells him to come to the company rooftop immediately to retrieve this boy. After hanging up, she checks the time and remembers a doctor's appointment. Fearful that Shen Yan might attempt suicide again upon waking, she takes the drastic measure of tying him up with a rope before hurrying away. She misses her appointment and goes to see her friend Chi Su. He is frustrated by her tardiness, emphasizing how difficult it was to secure the doctor's slot. Lunayan explains that she overslept, a statement Chi Su finds utterly unbelievable given her chronic insomnia. He humors her with obvious skepticism, which she detects, leading her to insist that her restful sleep was a miraculous answer to her prayers. Meanwhile, Shen Yan awakens, frees himself, and is soon driving at a dangerously high speed, much to his assistant Chen's terror. Chen warns him that his grandfather would be furious if he knew he was driving. Shen Yan, however, is elated, proclaiming that his insomnia has been cured, attributing the miracle to the new medication. That evening, both protagonists separately attempt to recreate the conditions of their mysterious sleep. Lu Nian prays again for restful slumber, while Shen Yan takes his medicine once more. However, the magic has vanished, both remain awake the entire night. The next morning, Shen Yan confesses to Chen that the medication was ineffective. Lu Nian experiences the same disappointment. We also see a fresh wound on Shen Yan's hand, revealed through a flashback to a sleepless night where he took up crochet to pass the time and accidentally injured himself. He then announces his intention to ride a special bus service for insomnia patients. Chen worries about him being recognized as the company's CEO, but Shen Yan dons a disguise. Lu Nian, having learned about the bus, also decides to attend. She encounters strict security but manages to bribe a guard to gain access. On the bus, she finds only one vacant seat, which happens to be next to the disguised Shen Yan. A slight movement causes his coat to slip, and Lu Nian recognizes him. Though he remains unaware of her recognition, she asks to sit beside him and he acquiesces. A sudden jolt from the bus sends her tumbling into his lap, drawing laughter from other passengers. Flustered, she quickly takes the seat. Noticing the injury on his hand, her mind returns to her fixation on his supposed suicidal tendencies. Feeling a moral obligation, she launches into a lecture on the value of life, which he ignores. Trying a different approach, she suggests they play a game, holding her hand out. He initially refuses to engage, but just as he reluctantly responds, the bus swerves violently. In the chaos, their eyes meet once more and the strange phenomenon recurs. They both fall instantly asleep, with Shen Yan slumping onto her. Upon arriving at the destination, Shen Yan wakes up and hastily disembarks, again crediting the medication for his sleep. Lu Nian is awakened by the driver and proceeds to the designated hotel. At the hotel, another security check is in progress. As Lu Nian ponders her next move, she overhears Shen Yan talking to an associate, questioning why the medication's effects are so delayed. Misinterpreting his words as a coded discussion about sleeping pills for suicide, she becomes alarmed. She sees him heading for the third floor and, knowing it houses a swimming pool, jumps to the conclusion that he plans to drown himself. With the elevators not working, she races up the stairs and, seeing him enter the water, leaps in after him. For the third time, their eyes meet underwater and they both fall asleep. Lu Nian manages to pull him out and they both awaken simultaneously, quickly scrambling away from each other. Bewildered, Lu Nian wonders why she consistently falls asleep in his presence. Shen Yan is equally perplexed, questioning how he could have slept without any medication. He receives a call and moves to answer it. As he tries to leave, Lu Nian stops him, insisting they need to talk. Her stomach growls loudly from hunger. Since he was headed to the hotel restaurant anyway, he reluctantly takes her along and buys her a meal. Over food, she finally confronts him, asking why he is taking sleeping pills to commit suicide. He firmly denies both the suicide attempt and the use of sleeping pills. She refuses to believe him, reminding him of the jumping incident on the rooftop and admitting she was the one who tied him up to prevent another attempt. He clarifies that he was never suicidal, he was merely trying to retrieve his dropped medication. This revelation leaves her speechless. She then opens up about her own insomnia, explaining that she was one of the 20 selected applicants whose form was wrongly discarded. She points out the irony that he, seemingly not even a patient, has access to the hotel. She then guides him to a seating area and sits close to him, laying out the peculiar pattern. Every time they make eye contact, they fall asleep together. Shen Yan grows suspicious and tries to convince her he is not an insomniac. She proposes a test. If she touches him, perhaps they will sleep again. He recoils from her touch and swiftly departs. Later, Shen Yan's secretary informs him that a young woman is causing a disturbance in the lobby, demanding a room despite her application being cancelled. Looking down, Shen Yan sees it as Lu Nian. Surprisingly, he instructs his secretary to provide her with a room key. Lu Nian settles into her assigned room, where a scanning device automatically activates. After freshening up in the bathroom, she falls asleep on the bed. Meanwhile, Shen Yan, mistaking her room for his own, enters after changing his clothes and finds her sleeping soundly. Checking his phone, he sees a message from his secretary explaining the room reassignment and directing him to the adjacent room. Before leaving, he recalls Lu Nian's theory about physical contact inducing sleep. Driven by curiosity, he gently touches her. The moment he makes contact, he's plunged into a vivid romantic dream involving her, though in reality they are merely sleeping. He awakens with a start, pondering the potential truth behind her claim. As he attempts to leave, Lu Nian, still asleep, throws an arm and a leg over him. He struggles to extricate himself just as her eyes flutter open. She screams upon finding him in her room, accusing him of trespassing. The commotion draws his secretary, who manages to calm her down. In the aftermath, a business card belonging to Lu Nian is discovered to have fallen in Shen Yan's room. The next day at his company, Shen Yan poses a bizarre question during a meeting. Can physical touch between two insomniacs induce sleep? His team is baffled by the query and unanimously dismisses the possibility. Lu Nian, meanwhile, tests the theory on Chi-Su, but touching him yields no results. He is pleasantly confused by her sudden affection, and she explains she was simply experimenting, confidently declaring she has found her cure and no longer needs a doctor. That night, Shen Yan takes his medication but remains wide awake, questioning whether his previous sleep was due to the pills or Lu Nian's presence. Lu Nian also spends a sleepless night. The next morning, she finds the business card and calls the number listed, which connects her to Chen. When he doesn't recognize her, she blurts out, "You don't remember, I slept with you in the hotel." Shen Yan, overhearing this, realizes it's Lu Nian and immediately has Chen block her number. Undeterred, Lu Nian goes to the company to confront him in person. She spots him and calls out the name Chen, causing him to stop. He assumes she is seeking financial compensation, but she denies it, reiterating her belief in their unique sleeping connection. He dismisses her and tries to leave. She challenges him to one test, let her touch him to see what happens. He reluctantly agrees and she hugs him, but this time no sleep occurs. He pushes her away, stating he fulfilled her request, and departs. As Shen Yan drives away, Lu Nian chases his car, still shouting Chen. The real Chen, standing nearby, questions why she is calling his name. The confusion leads to a revelation. Lu Nian learns the man she's been pursuing is the company's CEO. Shocked, she questions how the CEO could be an insomniac. Chen, alarmed that she knows this secret, brings her to the office for questioning. Lu Nian explains the sleeping phenomenon. To ensure her silence and perhaps explore her claim, Chen offers her a position as Shen Yan's personal assistant. The following day, interviews for the position are held. Another applicant accidentally spills water on the woman next to Lu Nian, ruining her dress. Lu Nian kindly offers her own jacket. Inside, Chen is conducting the interviews when a woman named Su Man arrives. Whispers among the candidates suggest she is romantically involved with the CEO. Su Man joins Chen, declaring she will personally select Shen Yan's assistant and proceeds to reject everyone. Only Lu Nian and the girl she helped remain. Su Man pressures the other girl to drink alcohol. When the girl refuses, citing an allergy, Su Man remains adamant. Lu Nian intervenes, taking the glass. Shen Yan observes from the doorway. Su Man then turns the pressure on Lu Nian, insisting she drink the entire bottle to secure the job for her friend. Lu Nian, determined, complies. Afterward, intoxicated and unsteady, she stumbles in the elevator where Shen Yan catches her. That night, her insomnia worsens, causing her to hallucinate. She calls Chen with a new plan, to use these hallucinations to her advantage by sneaking into Shen Yan's house to scare him, forcing physical contact and hopefully sleep. They go to his house, and Lu Nian correctly guesses his birth date as the door passcode. The door opens, revealing Shen Yan himself on the other side. He demands an explanation. Lu Nian excitedly proclaims she has a cure for his condition. He retorts that she should focus on curing herself first and orders her to leave, later reprimanding Chen for his foolishness. That night, Shen Yan has a nightmare. The next morning, Lu Nian waits for him outside the company. He arrives, and his project manager reminds him of a meeting, but his car is unavailable. Lu Nian offers him a ride on her scooter. After the meeting, he finds her waiting to take him back. As he enters the office, she invites him to a movie, which he accepts. Lu Nian hopes the dark theater will facilitate closeness and sleep, but he sits apart from her. Next, she takes him to a haunted house, hoping fear will drive them together. The plan backfires when she becomes terrified and flees. Outside, she looks at a music competition on her phone. Shen Yan encourages her to enter, but she explains her insomnia always strikes during performances. They have dinner, drink excessively, and in her inebriated state, Shen Yan fills out the competition application for her. She wakes up the next morning in his house and attempts to sneak out, but the chaotic state of the living room jogs her memory of the previous night's antics. Shen Yan awakens to the disaster zone his home has become, including a ruined, expensive painting, and correctly deduces Lu Nian's role. He furiously confronts her, demands compensation, and throws her out. Later at the office, Shen Yan's brother introduces him to a doctor. Shen Yan confides in the doctor about the sleeping phenomenon with Lu Nian. His brother suggests bringing Lu Nian in. That evening, Shen Yan visits her apartment. She refuses to open the door until he mentions he is not there for the painting money. She emerges and he presents her with an employment contract, offering a high salary. Chen adds that the job could also treat her insomnia. Persuaded, Lu Nian signs the contract. She excitedly tells Chi-Su about her new job at Shen Yan's company. Chi-Su seems displeased by this news. On her first day, Lu Nian is introduced to the staff and then led to Shen Yan's office, where he and the doctor are waiting. The doctor explains he wants to research her condition and requests her full cooperation, which she agrees to provide. He gives them both special monitoring bands and instructs them to sleep in the same room while wearing them, as he needs to observe how they induce sleep in each other. At that moment, Chi-Su makes a dramatic entrance into the company. Lu Nian is surprised to see him, and Su-man immediately approaches him, revealing that Chi-Su is a major shareholder in the company. Following the doctor's instructions, Lu Nian moves her belongings into Shen Yan's house. That night, as they prepare for bed, Shen Yan reminds her that the doctor insisted they hold hands. She complies, but after a while, believing him to be asleep, she tries to let go. He immediately informs her that breaking contact is against the rules. As she holds his hand again, she begins to hear strange noises in the house and expresses her fear. They investigate the source, and Lu Nian discovers a snake in the wardrobe, prompting her to leap onto Shen Yan in terror. He calmly explains that the snake is his pet, secures it in a container, and returns to bed, with a still frightened Lu Nian following closely behind. The day begins with Xiang Chen expressing his frustration, chiding the subject of his ire for their shared lack of sleep and the consequent ambiguity of their planned endeavor's outcome. No sooner has this confrontation concluded than the focus shifts to Luan, who is immersed in her work. Her concentration is broken by the arrival of the project manager, who presents her with a lavish assortment of dresses, all meticulously selected by Xiang Yan. This is the first step in a whirlwind preparation for a high-profile party that evening. The scene then transitions to the event itself, where Xiang Yan stands conversing with Xuan's father, embodying an image of corporate poise. The atmosphere shifts palpably the moment Luan makes her entrance, a vision of elegance amidst the glittering crowd. Feeling out of place, she voices her discomfort to Xiang Yan, who swiftly approaches her, questioning why she was summoned to a gathering where she knows no one. With a reassuring demeanor, he promises the presence of familiar faces and proceeds to orchestrate a moment of pure joy for her by introducing her to her lifelong idol. The radiant happiness that illuminates Luan's face brings a corresponding warmth to Xiang Yan's own heart. His attention to detail extends to a minor adjustment on her dress, a gesture of tender care that does not go unnoticed. This simple act of kindness, however, becomes the catalyst for a dramatic public spectacle. Schumann, observing the intimate exchange, is consumed by a bitter jealousy. She confronts Xiang Yan, demanding to know if his affections lie with Luan. He attempts to de-escalate the situation with a firm warning, but his words are futile. In a fit of pique, Schumann hurls her drink at Luan, an act of public humiliation that Xiang Yan instantly counters by shielding Luan with his own coat and swiftly escorting her from the hostile environment. Once they find a moment of solitude, he offers a sincere apology, which Luan gracefully dismisses, absolving him of any blame. In a gesture of profound understanding and support, he presents her with a musical instrument and encourages her to play, offering the private space as a surrogate stage where she can reclaim her composure. As the music flows from her, a profound and serene connection settles between them. Xiang Yan, moved by the moment and the depth of his feelings, confesses that he believes he is genuinely falling in love with her. The confession leaves Luan in a state of shock, but this surprise soon mellows into mutual affection, leading to a moment where they nearly share a kiss. Instead, overwhelmed by the strange condition that binds them, they both fall into a deep, sudden slumber right there on the spot. Their sleep is so profound that a concerned woman stumbles upon them, and seeing their motionless forms, fearfully exclaims that she thought they had committed a joint suicide. They are abruptly awakened by this disturbance, only for Xiang Yan to receive a call from their doctor. The doctor, with an almost clairvoyant insight, asks if they were just asleep. Astonished, Xiang Yan confirms it and inquires how she could possibly know. She reveals the secret behind the monitoring bands they wear, explaining that both their heart rates had synchronized and changed in a pattern indicative of mutual romantic affection. This scientific confirmation of their feelings fills Xiang Yan with a quiet, profound happiness. The following day, Luan, blushing slightly, messages Xiang Yan, summoning him upstairs for a conversation. When he arrives, she suggests, with a mix of shyness and implication, that he should research the reason for their shared slumber the previous night. He agrees earnestly, stating he will investigate and suggesting they start again. Misinterpreting his words as an invitation to resume their near kiss, Luan begins to lean in, only to be surprised when he presents her with a document instead. A moment of comical misunderstanding ensues before he informs her of an appointment at 1 o'clock requiring her accompaniment. Luan readily agrees. Meanwhile, Schumann receives a bouquet of flowers, and assuming they are a peace offering from Xiang Yan, is elated. She immediately orders a new dress, anticipating a romantic outing with him. Her hopes are cruelly dashed when she emerges, fully prepared, only to witness Xiang Yan departing with Luan. It is then that she discovers the note hidden within the flowers, which reveals that the birthday party arrangements were made by Xiang Chen, not Xiang Yan. Enraged, she tears the card and storms to Xiang Yan's office, where she finds evidence of his plans with Luan, booked movie tickets. At the cinema, a tender moment unfolds as Xiang Yan playfully attempts to steal a kiss through a shared chip, but Luan, in a moment of adorable clumsiness, eats it first. He then pulls back, his attention diverted to the monitoring band on his wrist. The doctor had informed him that a link light would activate if mutual feelings of love were present, but the band remains dark, casting a shadow of doubt. Later, over a meal, Xiang Yan is on the verge of verbally confessing his feelings when Schumann arrives with Chisu, forcing the four into an awkward shared table. Chisu's easy and frank conversation with Luan visibly irritates Xiang Yan, who excuses himself to the restroom. Chisu follows and directly asks if Xiang Yan has feelings for Luan. Xiang Yan offers a simple, firm yes, which leaves Chisu in a stunned silence. Seizing the moment, Xiang Yan extracts Luan from the uncomfortable situation. In the privacy of his car, he finally makes his heartfelt confession. "I like you." He then unveils the full truth about the bands, explaining the installed software that monitors their emotional synchrony, which causes them to fall asleep whenever their mutual affection peaks. He shows her how a pink light on his band activates when he thinks of her. Luan, in turn, reveals that her band had accidentally fallen into coffee and malfunctioned. In a decisive and poignant act, she removes his working band and places it on her own wrist. The immediate illumination of the pink light serves as her own silent, powerful confession, proving her feelings are just as strong. As they lean in for their long-awaited first kiss, their overwhelming emotions trigger their condition once more, and they fall asleep in the car. The next day, Luan accompanies Xiang Yan to a meeting with the elusive Mr. Young, who initially refuses to see them. They manage to secure an audience only after exploiting the arrival of a delivery person. Luan's persuasive skills eventually win Mr. Young over, and he takes Xiang Yan inside for a private discussion, leaving Luan to wait anxiously outside. Xiang Yan emerges with triumphant news: Mr. Young has agreed to work with them. That night, Xiang Yan grapples with the frustrating paradox of their condition. His desire to kiss Luan is thwarted by the sleep it induces, yet not kissing her leaves him feeling unsettled and incomplete. Resolving this internal conflict, he goes to her and finds her in tears. She reveals a desperate measure. She had put oil in her eyes in a futile attempt to stay awake. Xiang Yan is both scolding and deeply touched by her sacrifice, confessing that he, too, has grown to dislike the sleeping episodes if they mean being apart from her. In a moment of decisive passion, he kisses her, and true to their unique bond, they succumb to sleep mid-embrace. The next morning, they visit Mr. Young's house to finalize the contract, but he does not answer the door. After Xiang Yan leaves for a prior meeting, they return together and Mr. Young presents them with an unexpected challenge. He will only sign the contract if they win a specific competition. Their shock is immense upon discovering it is a dancing contest. Despite his initial reluctance, Luan manages to convince Xiang Yan to participate, and a comical montage of his rigorous dance practice ensues. On the day of the competition, Luan goes to collect Mr. Zhen, only to discover a critical error. The competition forms had been swapped with those for his wife's event. Mr. Zhen declares the challenge void. However, they proceed to the venue where Xiang Yan, defying all expectations, delivers an impressive dance performance. When he asks Mr. Jiang for his verdict, Luan explains the form mix-up. Impressed by their dedication, Mr. Jiang invites them to his home and reveals the true nature of the competition, a mobile game development challenge. Luan confidently accepts, and the real contest begins, culminating in their success. Xiang Yan proudly announces to his team that Mr. Young has officially signed the contract. In a subsequent, deeply romantic gesture, Xiang Yan presents Luan with an application form for a competition that aligns with her lifelong dream of performing. Astonished, she asks how he managed it. He reveals that he had secretly recorded a video of her playing the instrument that night and submitted it. The organizers had responded with enthusiastic approval. Overwhelmed with gratitude and love, they share a passionate kiss. The following morning, Luan wakes to find that Xiang Yan has prepared breakfast for her. However, their happiness is under surveillance. Schumann, consumed by her schemes, instructs her assistant to closely monitor Luan and Xiang Yan. That evening, Xiang Yan brings Luan to a surprise location and tells her to close her eyes. When she opens them, she is enveloped in a magical shower of bubbles, a gesture she adores. In her joy, she hugs Xiang Yan tightly, a moment captured by Schumann's assistant and promptly sent to her, fueling her resentment. As Luan practices her instrument, Chisu visits and gifts her a ticket to a show featuring her favorite artist. When Xiang Yan sees Luan and Chisu together at the event, he intervenes, promising to personally introduce her to the artist. The artist is delighted to meet them both. After the show, Luan is ecstatic, having obtained the artist's autograph. The narrative then builds towards her own performance in the competition. Xiangyan and Chisu are in the audience awaiting her act when Schumann arrives and sits beside them. She pointedly asks Xiangyan who he is there to see, and he confidently replies, "My girlfriend Luan." The declaration stokes the fires of Schumann's jealousy, and she sets her plan in motion. A girl acting on Schumann's orders lures Luan to a changing room and locks her inside. When Luan fails to appear for her performance, Xiangyan grows worried, while Schumann watches with satisfaction. Xiangyan frantically searches for her, checking security footage that reveals her location. He finds the locked door and breaks it down, discovering Luan unconscious inside. He immediately carries her to safety. An investigation soon reveals Schumann's involvement. Confronted by a furious Xiangyan, she denies everything, appealing to their history as childhood friends. His response is cold and final. Had he known her true nature, he would never have been her friend. The scene shifts to Luan with her parents, who begin discussing her marriage prospects. Chisu arrives and begins ostentatiously impressing her parents. Luan, annoyed, deliberately spills a drink on him and ushers him away under the pretext of cleaning it. In private, Chisu confesses his feelings for her. Luan gently rejects him, stating her love for Xiangyan. At that moment, Xiangyan arrives, asserting his place in Luan's life and warning Chisu not to interfere before taking Luan away. In the car, he questions why she introduced Chisu to her parents. Luan explains it was a scheme orchestrated by Chisu and her parents, unbeknownst to her. Xiangyan expresses his desire for her not to be close to anyone else. Luan mentions her parents' criteria for a son-in-law, someone understanding and caring. Xiangyan insists he fits that description perfectly, but Luan teasingly adds that Chisu also does and he can cook. This provokes a playful jealousy in Xiangyan, prompting Luan to affectionately call him a child. She then remembers her parents are still at the restaurant and rushes back, where they all share a meal. Luan's father begins praising Chisu, prompting Xiangyan to firmly introduce himself as Luan's boyfriend. The evening descends into a drinking session between Xiangyan and Luan's father, leaving Xiangyan heavily intoxicated. Luan, with Chen's help, takes him home. He apologizes profusely, but she reassures him. A tender moment where she places her hand on his face triggers their sleep condition once more. Unfortunately, someone photographs them in this vulnerable state and leaks the image, causing a scandal in the business world. The board of directors pressures Xiang Chen to resolve the issue by having Xiangyan remove Luan from her position. When Xiangyan fails to come to the office, Chen visits his home and informs him of the situation, though her father remains skeptical. That night, Luan and Xiangyan video call each other, speculating that his father sent the contract to hers. Luan laments that they will likely be unable to sleep again, a conversation her mother overhears. Xiangyan promises to help and brings the doctor the next day to explain everything to Luan's father. However, her father intercepts her as she tries to leave for breakfast and insists she eat with him. Later, Luan's father visits Xiangyan's company. While Xiangyan is in a meeting, Schumann manipulates Chen into leaving, then approaches Luan's father herself. He hands Chen his bank card, instructing her to tell Xiangyan to take any amount for a painting, but to stay out of his daughter's life. When Luan discovers this, she is on the phone with Xiangyan, but her father confiscates her mobile. The strain of separation and sleeplessness takes its toll on Xiangyan, who begins consuming excessive medication for his headaches. Chisu discovers this and stops him, concerned for his well-being. Xiangyan confides in Chisu about their shared insomnia and the paradoxical sleep trigger. This triggers a memory for Chisu, who then decides to help. Meanwhile, Luan is seen drinking to cope, worrying her mother. The next morning, Chisu meets with Luan's parents and suggests a picnic with Luan, to which they agree. Her father asks him to take care of her, and Chisu knowingly asks if she had another insomnia attack. This unfamiliar term shocks her parents, and Chisu reveals that Luan had suffered from a similar condition a year prior. Acting on this information, Chisu takes Luan to a secluded spot where Xiangyan is waiting. Overjoyed, Luan runs to hug him but stops herself, remembering the consequences of physical contact. They are later shown at home, sharing a quiet, longing look until the doorbell rings. It is Luan's father. She hastily hides Xiangyan, claiming a friend is visiting. As she talks with her father, Xiangyan's cough gives him away. Caught red-handed, they attempt to explain their unique condition to a skeptical Luan's father. In a final effort to prove their story, Xiangyan takes Luan's hand and they instantly fall asleep together. Upon waking, they find her father gone. Simultaneously, Schumann uncovers a crucial piece of the puzzle. Xiangyan's childhood art teacher was none other than Luan's mother. Xiangyan, noticing missed calls from the doctor, contacts her and is summoned to the clinic. There, the doctor scolds them for their physical contact and conducts a guided dream analysis. Both experience the same terrifying dream involving someone drowning, and they call out names in their sleep. An unseen eavesdropper listens in. The doctor urges them to explore this shared memory as it is likely connected to their condition. Xiangyan recalls a vague childhood memory while Luan remembers even less. Hopping to jog their memories, Luan suggests a trip, but her father refuses permission. Her mother, however, intercedes and allows it. Schumann, meanwhile, orchestrates a scheme at the doctor's clinic, diverting the staff's attention so her accomplice can hack the computer systems and steal data. During Luan and Xiang Yan's trip, their car breaks down. Luan's parents unexpectedly arrive, scold them, and force them into their own car, escorting them to a hotel. Xiang Yan had booked separate rooms for himself and Luan, but the hotel is fully booked. Luan's mother declares that she will share a room with Luan, and Xiang Yan will share with her father. That night, Luan lies beside her mother while Xiang Yan is visibly frustrated by her father's controlling behavior. Later, Luan's mother finds her daughter speaking with Xiang Yan. Luan expresses her fear, echoing the doctor's warning that they should stay apart to avoid potential harm. Xiang Yan blames himself, but Luan reassures him, stating that she has never felt safer than when she is with him. The next day, Luan's parents deliberately strand them, locking them out of the car and announcing they will continue their trip alone. The couple finds themselves at a wish tree. Xiang Yan is struck by a memory of his mother bringing him there as a child. Luan explains the local belief that if a wish ball thrown into the tree remains lodged, the wish is granted. Her attempt, however, fails. They then encounter a boatman offering a ride, which Xiang Yan declines, still haunted by the water-themed dream. Instead, he leads her to a secluded camping site. As Luan wonders about his intentions, the area suddenly illuminates with lights and a spectacular firework display. Xiang Yan appears and, amidst the romantic atmosphere, proposes. He confesses that from the moment he met her, his wish was to marry her. Overwhelmed, Luan grows sad, making him fear he has misspoken. She clarifies that she is only disappointed she wasn't given a chance to dress up for the occasion. He tells her she is always beautiful to him, and she happily accepts his proposal, the moment he slips the ring onto her finger. Their overwhelming joy triggers their sleep condition once more, and they fall unconscious. They are discovered by hotel security, who inform them they have been asleep for 30 hours. The doctor calls, furious, and demands they return for an immediate checkup. Xiang Yan then visits his own father to announce his engagement. The news provokes a furious reaction from his father, leading to a heated argument where Xiang Yan accuses him of always blaming him ever since his mother's death and calls him hard-hearted. Xiang Yan storms out, and the stress of the confrontation causes his father to suffer a heart attack. Xiang Chen frantically calls Xiang Yan, who rushes to the hospital. Luan also arrives to check on his father's condition. Xiang Yan, who hasn't eaten, is coaxed outside by Luan. He explains he fought with his father because he wanted to protect her from any potential hurt. In a bold move, Luan arrives at the hospital posing as a caretaker for Xiang Yan's father. He initially recognizes and rejects her, but she persists, offering him food and eventually engaging him in a game outside. She asks if he has taught the game to anyone else, triggering his memory of trying to teach a young Xiang Yan, whose mother called him away because he disliked it. Xiang Yan, searching for his father, is directed outside by a nurse and is deeply moved to see his father playing happily with Luan. This moment begins to heal the rift between them. The doctor then delivers promising news. They can now have physical contact, provided the ambient temperature is low enough. Xiang Yan is overjoyed. Meanwhile, Luan apologizes to his father for her deception, explaining she feared he would not accept her otherwise. He softens, sharing stories of Xiang Yan's childhood and finally giving them his blessing, asking her to take care of his son. Xiang Yan immediately tasks Chen with creating a low-temperature environment for a special occasion. His father further demonstrates his acceptance by suggesting Xiang Yan invite Luan's parents for a meal. For the planned event, Xiang Yan asks Luan to bring a teddy bear and leads her to a specially prepared frigid room. As she begins to feel the cold, the lights illuminate, revealing Xiang Yan and an artificial snowfall created by Chen. He declares that the gift he gives her today will bind her to him forever and places the engagement ring on her finger. This time, when they kiss, science prevails over their condition. They do not fall asleep. Xiang Yan smiles, remarking that sometimes science is correct, and Luan embraces him, her heart full. The final act of their love story is interrupted by the unresolved past. Xiang Yan and his father await Luan and her parents for the celebratory dinner. Upon arrival, Luan's father recognizes Xiang Yan's father and, in a panic, forcibly takes Luan and leaves. In the shadows, Schumann pays an investigator for information on the connection between Luan and Xiang Yan. Xiang Yan confronts his father, demanding an explanation. His father reveals the devastating truth. The incident is linked to his mother's death. Schumann, reading an old newspaper, discovers that Xiang Yan's mother drowned while saving 2 children. On the other side, Luan's father's health deteriorates under the stress. As she tends to him, she pleads for the truth, but her mother urges her to wait until he is stronger. Luan repeatedly tries to call Xiang Yan, but he, reeling from the revelation, does not answer. Xiang Yan learns the full story from his father through a painful flashback. He was a young boy with a high fever when his mother died. Luan and her parents arrived at his home, and Luan's mother expressed her eternal gratitude, explaining that Xiang Yan's wife had saved her daughter's life. In his grief and anger, Xiang Yan's father lashed out, blaming them for his wife's death. He claimed that if their daughter hadn't involved his son, neither child would have been in the water, and his wife would not have drowned saving them. Luan's father vehemently denied the accusation. Xiang Yan, hearing this, is horrified that this was kept from him. His father explains that he suppressed the news and altered the story to a car accident to protect his son's fragile mental health. The shock unlocks Xiang Yan's repressed memories, and he recalls his childhood experiences with Luan. Meanwhile, Luan, unable to reach him, resolves to uncover the truth herself, but her inquiries to her grandmother yield no new information, leaving them both trapped in a web of past trauma and present heartbreak. Following the shattering revelation, a deeply troubled Xiang Yan seeks out Xiang Chen, desperate for confirmation of the painful truth he has just learned. He confronts his uncle, his voice heavy with emotion, demanding to know if everything his father disclosed was accurate. Xiang Chen, with a solemn and regretful demeanor, confirms the story, delving into the tragic details of that fateful day. He recounts how they had accompanied Xiang Yan's mother to her music school, where they encountered a young, spirited girl named Tonglu Nen. This girl, filled with a child's enthusiasm, began insistently pleading to go boating. Xiang Yan, caught up in her excitement, also expressed a desire to join her on the water. The innocent outing quickly turned into a nightmare when the two children found themselves drowning, their small forms struggling against the water. Xiang Chen, witnessing the horrifying scene from the shore, was paralyzed with fear and could do nothing but cry out in panic. Their distress calls were heard by Xiang Yan's mother, who, upon seeing her son and the little girl in peril, did not hesitate for a second. She leaped into the water without a thought for her own safety, heroically managing to push both children to safety. In a cruel twist of fate, having expended all her energy to save them, she herself was pulled under and drowned, becoming a tragic hero who sacrificed her own life for the children's survival. Overwhelmed by this confirmation, Xiang Yan grapples with the profound realization, connecting the dots between the past and the present as he understands that the girl from the accident, Tonglu Nen, is the very same woman he loves, Luan. Xiang Chen admits that he himself had only harbored suspicions and was never entirely certain of her identity until now. In the wake of this emotional turmoil, Luan, sensing the distance and distress in Xiang Yan, goes to his company to find him, hoping for clarity and comfort, but discovers his absence. Chisu, noticing her anxious and lost expression, approaches her to ask what is wrong. Luan, her confusion and worry evident, admits that she herself does not yet fully understand the situation, but she knows she must find Xiang Yan. Meanwhile, Chisu, accompanied by scheming Schumann, arrives at Xiang Yan's home. They find him in a state of complete devastation. Deeply intoxicated and emotionally exhausted, attempting to drown his sorrows in alcohol, Chisu immediately intervenes, trying to stop him from causing himself further harm. Schumann, seizing the opportunity to manipulate the situation, declares that all of Xiang Yan's current suffering is a direct result of Luan's presence in his life. When a perplexed Chisu asks her to explain her meaning, Schumann coldly reveals the core of the tragedy. The death of Xiang Yan's mother occurred because of Luan. To substantiate her claim, she produces old newspaper clippings that detail the incident, which a heartbroken Xiang Yan also sees, reopening the fresh wound. Unable to bear their presence and the painful reminders, he orders both Chisu and Schumann to leave his home immediately. Driven by a need to uncover the full story, Chisu then goes to the home of Luan's father. He directly confronts him, asking for an explanation of Luan's connection to the death of Xiang Yan's mother. Luan's father, alarmed, asks if Xiang Yan has already told Luan this devastating truth. Chisu reassures him that Xiang Yan has said nothing and that he's there seeking answers for himself. With a heavy heart, Luan's father recounts the entire painful episode, concluding with a desperate plea. He implores Chisu not to reveal this history to Luan, explaining that when she first experienced the trauma as a child, she was profoundly disturbed, plagued by recurring nightmares that tormented her sleep for a long time. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Chisu gives his word that he will keep this secret from Luan. In a parallel scene, Xiang Yan is found surrounded by his late mother's belongings, lost in grief and memory. He's visited by Luan's mother, who, aware that he now knows the truth, makes a difficult and painful request. She asks him, for Luan's own well-being and mental peace, to break off his relationship with her daughter. This plea shocks Xiang Yan to his core, placing him in an impossible position between his love for Luan and the potential to re-traumatize her. Simultaneously, Chisu is with Luan, offering his company and support. It is then that Chisu receives a call from Xiang Yan, who, with a voice full of anguish, instructs him to convey a message to Luan. They are broken up, and he asks Chisu to take good care of her. Chisu, honoring his promise to Luan's father, chooses not to relay this heartbreaking message to her at that moment. The narrative then shows Xiang Yan channeling his frustration and pain into a physical outlet, aggressively boxing as if trying to punch away his sorrows. This is intercut with a poignant flashback, revealing the moment when Luan's mother had previously approached him, begging him never to tell Luan about the circumstances of his mother's death. She explained that Luan had suffered immensely as a child, and had over time managed to bury those traumatic memories. Her family did not want her to relive that pain. To emphasize her point, Luan's mother showed Xiang Yan a childhood video of Luan, capturing a moment where the young girl woke up crying from a nightmare, a visual testament to the deep-seated psychological scars the incident had left. She apologized to Xiang Yan for the burden of this request, and left him to make his decision. It was this heartfelt, protective plea from Luan's own mother that ultimately solidified his resolve to sacrifice his own happiness, leading him to initiate the painful breakup. We then see Luan having lunch with Chisu, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. Her composure is shattered when she receives a call from a friend who informs her about a viral video circulating online which shows Xiang Yan with another woman presented as his new girlfriend. The news devastates Luan. When Chisu asks the reason for her sudden sadness, she shows him the video. However, demonstrating her unwavering faith in Xiang Yan, she declares that she knows the video is likely a fabrication, possibly orchestrated by his father. She expresses her conviction that she will give Xiang Yan time to resolve whatever external pressures he is facing, firmly believing that he will eventually come back to her and explain everything. Chisu, privy to the real reason behind Xiang Yan's actions, listens to her hopeful words in a heavy, knowing silence. That night, Luan tries to reach out to Xiang Yan via message but receives no reply. Their profound connection manifests even in their distress as they both experience the same terrifying nightmare that night, waking up simultaneously, scared and alone. The next morning, Luan takes matters into her own hands and waits outside Xiang Yan's house. When he emerges, he deliberately ignores her and attempts to walk away. Luan stops him, insisting they need to talk. She tells him she saw the news online but knows it was fake. Xiang Yan, stealing his heart and forcing a cold demeanor, insists that the news was true and that the other woman is indeed his new girlfriend. A hurt and confused Luan asks what she did to deserve this. Xiang Yan, repeating the harsh words his own father once used, coldly states that his father was right, she is not his type, and he has therefore decided to end their relationship. He delivers this cruel message while avoiding her gaze, prompting Luan to demand that he look her in the eyes as he says it. He obliges, delivering the final, painful blow while maintaining eye contact. Crushed, Luan leaves in tears. The moment she is gone, Xiang Yan's hardened facade crumbles, and he is overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow at the sight of her pain. Luan is later found seeking solace with a friend when she receives a crucial phone call from their doctor. The doctor reveals that she has completed an analysis of both their emotional data and confirms that Xiang Yan's feelings for Luan are genuine and profound. This news brings a flicker of happiness back to Luan. The doctor then inquires if their recurring dream has become any clearer. Luan reports that it remains vague. The doctor proposes one more joint therapeutic activity, believing it could finally bring complete clarity. However, for this to happen, Luan must convince Xiang Yan to participate. Determined, Luan goes to Xiang Yan's company, but she is barred from entering as he is given strict orders to keep her out. Their sympathetic project manager, however, takes pity on her. She discreetly takes Luan aside, informs her that Xiang Yan is in a meeting, and promises to help her see him. She guides Luan to a private room to wait. This action does not go unnoticed. Schumann passes by, sees Luan and confronts her, mockingly asking why she is there after Xiang Yan has broken up with her. Schumann then manipulates Luan into following her to her own office. The project manager warns Luan not to go, but Luan, perhaps seeking a confrontation or answers, follows Schumann anyway. The project manager, concerned, immediately informs Xiang Yan. He begins to head towards Schumann's office, but on his way, he sees Luan passing by in the hallway. Noticing a file in her hand and still committed to his painful charade, he chooses not to speak to her, letting her pass without a word. After returning home, Luan shows the file to her parents, confronting them with its contents. She has clearly discovered the truth about the boating accident. She accuses them of keeping this life-altering secret from her. Her mother tries to comfort her by insisting it was not her fault. Luan, feeling betrayed, retorts that they discovered she was the reason for his mother's death and still chose to conceal it from her. When her mother asks if Xiang Yan told her, Luan realizes the full extent of the collusion and deduces that her mother was the one who pressured him into the breakup. In a subsequent scene, Luan is shown standing alone in a reflective and sorrowful place. Xiang Yan finds her there and approaches, telling her gently that none of what happened was her fault. Luan, consumed by guilt, argues that he should have been honest with her from the beginning. She states that since her actions led to his mother's death, he was right to end their relationship and that she feels she does not deserve him or his love. Overwhelmed by this belief, she begins to remove the promise ring he gave her, intending to return it. When Xiang Yan refuses to take it back, she lets it fall to the ground and walks away. The moment she leaves, Xiang Yan's composure breaks completely, and he frantically drops to his knees, searching for the lost ring in a desperate, heart-wrenching display of his true feelings. The depth of their heartbreak is further illustrated in separate scenes. Luan, trying to distract herself, goes to a movie with a friend. While getting popcorn, she sees a boy from behind whom she mistakes for Xiang Yan and begins talking to him, a moment of painful longing and confusion that embarrasses her when the stranger is confused by her attention. Her friend quickly ushers her away. On the other side, Xiang Yan is haunted by her memory, seeing her face in every crowd. As he returns home one evening, Chisu finds him and suggests they have a drink together. Xiang Yan brings him inside his house. During their conversation, Chisu admits that after Xiang Yan left Luan, he thought he might have a chance with her. Xiang Yan, still maintaining his act, agrees that this should be the case. Chisu then confesses that despite this, Luan's heart still belongs to Xiang Yan and shows him a video of her affirming her feelings. Xiang Yan, agitated, asks why he is being shown this. Chisu poses a direct question: does Xiang Yan still have feelings for her? Xiang Yan denies it. Chisu then asks if he hates her. Xiang Yan's response is revealing. He says he does not hate her, he hates himself. He confesses that he was the older child during the accident and believes he should have been able to save his mother. Chisu challenges this line of thinking, asking if he is really going to abandon his chance at love because of a childhood tragedy over which he had no control, suggesting that his mother would never have wanted him to make such a sacrifice. As Xiang Yan moves to leave, it is revealed that Chisu had secretly called Luan and had her listening to this entire raw and emotional conversation, allowing her to hear Xiang Yan's true torment and the real reason for his distance. As a deeply affected Xiang Yan drives away, the stress and severe lack of sleep trigger a sudden insomnia attack, causing him to nearly collide with another vehicle. He manages to swerve at the last second, avoiding a catastrophe, and apologizes profusely to the other driver. In this moment, seeing the man's scooter, he is struck by a memory of a happier time with Luan. On an impulse, he offers the man his expensive car in exchange for the scooter. He then continues his journey on the scooter, but another, more severe insomnia attack causes him to lose control, resulting in a serious accident that leaves him hospitalized. The scene shifts to the hospital, where Xiang Yan finally regains consciousness after 3 days in a coma. The first person his eyes focus on is Luan, who has been keeping a vigil at his bedside. Schumann is also present in the room. He asks her how long she's been there taking care of him, though his eyes and heart are clearly seeking information about Luan. A flashback reveals that when Schumann learned of the accident, she rushed to the hospital and found Luan waiting outside. She began to berate her but was interrupted when Xiang Yan's condition suddenly worsened. As the doctors worked on him, he was heard calling out Luan's name in his delirium. The doctor, recognizing the importance of her presence, asked for Luan. She immediately rushed to his side, took his hand, and assured him she was there. Her voice and touch had a calming effect, and his vital signs stabilized. Later, when Schumann came to his room, she witnessed Luan speaking to the unconscious Xiang Yan, apologizing for her role in his mother's death and pouring her heart out. Hearing Luan's sincere and selfless love, Schumann experienced a moment of profound clarity and remorse. She called Luan outside, apologized for her own malicious behavior, and admitted that Luan and Xiang Yan were truly meant for each other. She then urged Luan to stay with him before preparing to leave. However, Luan, still wrestling with her own guilt, stated that she could not stay, fearing that if he woke up and saw her, his condition might deteriorate because of the painful associations. Back in the present, Schumann tells the now conscious Xiang Yan that Luan was the one who cared for him tirelessly for 3 days, proving the depth of their mutual love. She hands him his mobile phone and departs, finally stepping aside. In a subsequent conversation between Xiang Yan and Xiang Chen, the latter informs him that their doctor has decided the most effective treatment for his insomnia must involve Luan, as their conditions are inextricably linked. This news brings a spark of hope and happiness to Xiang Yan. However, Xiang Chen expresses his concern, stating he cannot bear to see his nephew get hurt again. Xiang Yan firmly defends Luan, stating she bears no fault in what happened. Xiang Chen reveals that he and Xiang Yan's father have decided his treatment should be handled by a different expert doctor. Xiang Yan refuses, declaring he cannot leave Luan to face her struggles alone. Meanwhile, the doctor is simultaneously trying to persuade a reluctant Luan to agree to the joint treatment. After much persuasion from both the doctor and, implicitly, her own heart, Luan finally consents. We then see a hopeful Xiang Yan arriving at the doctor's clinic, his spirits lifting immediately upon seeing Luan. The doctor, as part of their therapy, sends them to a location that closely mirrors the setting of their shared nightmare, the very place where Xiang Yan's mother lost her life. An old abandoned boat lies nearby, a ghost from the past. As they both tentatively touch the boat, fragmented childhood memories begin to surface, though the full picture remains frustratingly unclear. A local man approaches and warns them to stay away from the boat and the lake, emphasizing its danger and advising against any boating. They assure him they are only looking. Unbeknownst to them, Xiang Chen is secretly watching them from a distance, his expression fraught with anxiety and guilt. In a private moment later, Xiang Chen looks at a photograph of his late sister-in-law and whispers an apology, admitting that he failed to save her. He confesses to the empty room that the fault was ultimately his, yet the blame was allowed to fall upon a young and innocent Luan. In a vivid daydream, he suddenly sees Xiang Yan and Luan standing in his room, accusing him of the wrong he has done them. He is shaken back to reality, realizing it was only his guilt-ridden imagination. The plot then thickens with a corporate subplot. An emergency shareholders meeting is convened at the company. Xiang Yan is waiting with Luan for the doctor, who has become unreachable, her phone switched off and her clinic empty. Chen informs Xiang Yan about the urgent meeting. At the meeting, shareholders angrily announce that sensitive company information has been leaked. Their suspicion falls upon Xiang Yan's doctor, whose sudden disappearance seems highly coincidental and suspicious. Although Xiang Chen initially defends her, the shareholders, fearing further risk, demand the immediate termination of the insomnia research project. That night, Luan sits alone in her room when she hears the distinct sound of Xiang Yan's car pulling up. She rushes to the window and sees him standing below, looking up at her, only to realize with a pang of disappointment that it was merely a trick of her lonely, longing mind. The following day, a parcel arrives for Luan. She opens it to find it is from the missing doctor, containing a letter and 2 audio recording devices. She immediately contacts Xiang Yan. The moment he receives her message, he rushes to pick her up and they drive off together to investigate this new clue. Someone secretly photographs them together and sends the picture to Xiang Chen. At a secure location, Luan hands the parcel to Xiang Yan and they each take a recording device, one labeled for her, one for him. When they listen simultaneously, they hear the same phrase on both recordings, a child's voice pleading, "Don't do this with the boat." This synchronized evidence makes them certain of what they had only suspected. There was a third person in the boat with them that day. Armed with this new proof, Xiang Yan confronts his father, asking a pointed question. Where was Xiang Chen at the time his mother was drowning? His father, defensive and evasive, questions why he is asking and tells him not to investigate his own uncle. Defying this, Xiang Yan and Luan manage to locate the doctor, who resumes their treatment. In a pivotal therapeutic session, Luan holds Xiang Yan's hand and through guided regression, they finally unlock the complete, unvarnished memory of that tragic day. The full memory floods back. They were 3 children playing together by the lake. Xiang Chen, the oldest among them, pointed to a boat and suggested they go boating. The 2 younger children, Xiang Yan and Luan, were hesitant and afraid. Xiang Chen, taunting them for their cowardice, provoked Xiang Yan into proving his bravery. As Xiang Chen began to untie the boat, a man arrived and shouted at them to get away from the water. The 3 children hid until the man left. Then, emboldened by their successful evasion, they climbed into the boat. Once they were a short distance from the shore, Xiang Chen, in a foolish and reckless act, began to rock the boat violently to scare the younger ones. Both Xiang Yan and Luan pleaded with him to stop, but he ignored their cries, continuing until the boat capsized, throwing all 3 into the dangerous water. Xiang Yan and Luan, neither of whom could swim, began to drown. Xiang Chen, who knew how to swim, managed to save himself and reached the shore. It was at this moment that Xiang Yan's mother arrived, saw the scene of horror, and without a second's hesitation, jumped into the water. She fought to save both children, successfully pushing them to safety before succumbing to exhaustion and drowning herself. In the emotional aftermath of this shared recollection, Xiang Yan apologizes to Luan, his heart breaking for the traumatic childhood she endured because of an incident in which he was also involved. Luan, offering forgiveness and comfort, hugs him tightly. They then seek out the man who had shouted at them as children, who confirms their newly recovered memories in every detail, describing the older child's insistence, the subsequent drowning, and the mother's heroic fatal rescue. Xiang Chen, who has been lurking outside, overhears this entire conversation. The truth he has carried and concealed for so long is now fully exposed. He is consumed by fear and self-loathing, convinced that his family will now ostracize him, expel him from their lives, and hate him forever. Later, Luan cautiously asks Xiang Yan if he has begun to hate Xiang Chen. Xiang Yan, in a moment of raw honesty, answers yes. Xiang Chen, hearing this single, devastating word from outside the door, turns and leaves in despair before hearing the rest of Xiang Yan's sentence. Xiang Yan continues, explaining to Luan that while he hates the actions Xiang Chen took, he cannot forget that Xiang Chen has also been a caring and supportive figure in his life for many years, always standing up for him in front of his father. He reflects that Xiang Chen could have claimed the CEO position of the company for himself, but instead stepped aside and supported Xiang Yan, never asserting his own rights to power. We then see a despondent Xiang Chen looking at a family photo, wondering aloud if the people for whom he made so many sacrifices will now abandon him. Convinced that he is beyond forgiveness, he makes a decisive phone call, instructing someone to make arrangements, setting a new, desperate plan in motion. The next day, Xiang Yan goes to confront Xiang Chen, stating that they need to talk. Xiang Chen, having already chosen his path, coldly informs Xiang Yan that he was never truly capable of being the company's CEO. In a shocking and public betrayal, Xiang Chen then reveals to a gathered group of media reporters that Xiang Yan suffers from a severe and debilitating insomnia disorder. He uses this revelation to manipulate the company's shareholders, tempting them with the promise of stability under his own leadership if they support him in ousting Xiang Yan. The shareholders, concerned about the company's image and stability, initially agree to back Xiang Chen. Amidst this corporate coup, a conversation between Xiang Yan and his father reveals another layer of the family's complex history. In a flashback, his father admits that he had long known of Xiang Chen's culpability in the accident. However, in the immediate aftermath of the tragedy, Xiang Chen was so consumed by guilt and grief that he stopped eating for days, and Xiang Yan himself was deeply disturbed. To protect both of them and hold the fragile family together, his father made the difficult choice to conceal Xiang Chen's role and let him live with the secret. A formal shareholders' meeting is convened to vote on Xiang Yan's position as CEO. One by one, influenced by Xiang Chen's manipulations, the shareholders vote against him. The tide turns when Xiang Yan's father, leveraging his larger shareholding, publicly declares his support for his son. Chisu, demonstrating his loyalty and friendship, also casts his vote for Xiang Yan. This show of faith inspires other shareholders to change their minds, and a wave of support ensures that Xiang Yan is not removed from his leadership role. Defeated and expecting exile, Xiang Chen is shown packing his belongings to leave the family home. Xiang Yan finds him and asks where he is going. Xiang Chen, his voice filled with regret, admits that he lied and acted out of a twisted sense of self-preservation, but his deepest fear was always being forced to leave the family he loved. In a powerful moment of forgiveness and familial bond, Xiang Yan embraces his uncle, telling him he is not going anywhere and that he will not allow him to leave. Overwhelmed with relief and gratitude, Xiang Chen happily accepts this forgiveness and also offers a sincere apology to Xiang Yan's father, who, in a spirit of reconciliation, forgives him as well, mending the long-broken family rift. In a final, symbolic act of closure, Luan accompanies Xiang Yan to his mother's gravesite. There he asks her if she has forgiven him for the pain he caused during their breakup. Luan, with a touch of playful teasing, says she has not because he made her cry so much. When Xiang Yan suggests they get back together, she playfully refuses and walks away, leaving him momentarily confused about how to win her back. He then devises a plan and invites her to a dinner. During the meal, he attempts to use their old professional contract as a humorous, if clumsy, reason for why she should still be with him. This tactic only serves to make Luan angry. Fortunately, their doctor arrives on the scene and provides a perfect excuse, explaining that a new phase of their treatment requires them to live together again. Xiang Yan seizes this opportunity and asks Luan to move back into his house. Luan pretends to be indecisive, but as she is leaving, she quietly says yes to him, a smile betraying her true feelings. Xiang Yan waits expectantly at home for her arrival. When she does not appear, he goes to her house where her parents first engage him in conversation. Luan's mother, understanding the young couple's dynamic, tactfully pulls her husband aside to give them privacy. Xiang Yan then asks Luan to come with him, but she playfully refuses once more. She goes into her room and returns not with her bags, but with a sleeping pill and a pillow, a humorous reference to the condition that first brought them together. That night she goes outside to check on him, only to find Xiang Yan standing there casually eating a banana. Startled, she loses her balance and falls backward. He catches her, but the momentum sends them both tumbling to the ground, resulting in Luan accidentally kissing his cheek. Flustered and blushing, she quickly retreats back into her room. The next morning, Luan wakes up to an exciting call for a professional audition, filling her with joy as she prepares for her big opportunity. Xiang Yan, already ready for the day, arrives and announces he will drive her there on his scooter, a nostalgic callback to their simpler times together. In a delightful reveal shortly after, it is disclosed that Xiang Yan's insomnia has actually been cured for some time. He confesses to Luan that he was only pretending to still have the condition as a pretext to stay close to her. Luan, smiling, reveals that she had already figured out his ruse but had chosen to play along because she, too, wanted any excuse to be with him. They share a loving kiss, their relationship now free of secrets and past traumas. The story culminates in a series of joyful scenes. Xiang Yan takes Luan to choose her wedding dress. During this happy errand, he receives an urgent call from his father and rushes to his side, only to find his father and Luan engaged in a friendly and warm conversation. Both Xiang Yan and Luan had initially feared they were arguing, but it is clear that the two most important men in her life have now become good friends. The narrative then moves to their beautiful wedding day. Xiang Yan, filled with love and pride, walks down the aisle holding Luan's hand. They exchange vows and place rings on each other's fingers, sealing their commitment before sharing a tender kiss as husband and wife. A final, joyful group photograph is taken with all their family and friends, marking the happy and harmonious conclusion to their tumultuous and heartfelt journey.